Hello, everyone. Welcome to Women Together on this beautiful Tuesday. It's wonderful to see you all. My name is Antoinette, and I'm the host of Women Together along with our wonderful team. And I love this part of our events where we can go on gallery and just see everybody and say a little hello. Even if it's just a smile to each other, a smile and a wave. It's always nice to just be connected with one another, which is really the point of why we do this. So um, just a little hello. And then if you'd like to in the chat, start saying hello. I know many of us are already doing that. So we are coming from all over today. New York City, Long Island, the coast of Maine, Arizona, Houston, Maryland, California. So many. And, you know, I know there are people from even before before I came in, rural Eastern Washington State. Summer has arrived in Winchester, Massachusetts, Rockland, New York City. Yes, it's getting nice and warm in New York. I'm standing in Cortland Manor, north of the city. Darla coming in from Texas, Dallas, welcome. Up to Buffalo, New York, sunny Connecticut, Norfolk, Virginia. Beautiful. Hello from Germany. Wonderful to have you, Petra. Ohio, expecting snow tomorrow. So we're still all over. And I'm really glad to also be welcoming Alyssa Benjamin, who I'll introduce in just a few minutes, who's joining us from LA, I believe. So welcome, Alyssa. And I'll bring you on in just a few minutes. What we'll do today is I'll share a little bit of our, kind of method about how we are doing our community for those of you who may be new. And we'll share a little bit more in the chat, do a moment of stillness, which is one of our tiny practices. And then I'll turn it over to Alyssa Benjamin, who is phenomenal and is going to be bringing some of her practices to us. And then we'll move into the breakouts, which is really where we get to connect with each other. And we often say that there's a magic, there's an energy that happens when women come together. And that's really why we do this week after week. It's why so many of us continue to come together. And it really has been such a special place for us to explore. Originally this has, it began with Eileen Fisher, who's a clothing designer, and she was developing clothing that allows us as women to feel comfortable and confident in our bodies. And in doing that, she has had a lot of practices that have really helped her to feel free in herself. And so that's really what we're doing, is sharing some of those practices, some of our favorite teachers and friends, and really just diving deeper into that place. Sometimes Eileen and I talk about ourselves as depth junkies. So this experience of mindfulness or personal, growth and development, and really just recognizing that we can continue to grow through any phase of our lives and any transition that we may be dealing with, which has been really important during this last year of societal disruption, so to speak, and really being able to support one another and support ourselves. So that's what our Women Together community is. I highly encourage going into breakout rooms because you get to just listen to one another and provide a space for yourself and for each other to just hear what's going on and be a kind of, I like to think of us as human beings as kind of human washing machines. So we can take in this information, we can take in what's going on, we kind of deal with it, and then we put out some clean energy in the world. So, we'll just be human washing machines today. So first we can start with a moment of stillness, because clearly I'm quite energetic today. So maybe I can do a little grounding practice for you, but also for me. Hold on. So I'll just grab our little singing bowl. And I often talk about this, that there's a little note on the back of this one that says, for conference room use only. And it has been over a year since the conference room became my living room. And we all conference here each week. So big thank you to my household, but also to this little singing bowl, because it gives a little bit of stillness and calm no matter where we are. And what I'll do is just invite us to land here, and I'll ring the bell to bring us into a moment of stillness, and I'll ring the bell to bring us back. So if you can get both feet flat on the ground, that's a good place to start. Just connecting in with the breath. Perhaps noticing the temperature of the breath on the nostrils. And just tuning in to being in this body. And this body being in some way connected to the earth body. And in some way also connected to the sky, a sense of possibility. Staying with that breath, moving in and out. I'll ring the sound of the bell. I often feel I could stay in this place of just being in stillness with you all. And that would probably be enough to just get us through our day and through our week. But it's a tiny practice that I invite you to take in between meetings, before a next event, before a conversation, after a conversation. It can be a lovely way to just ground and recenter and reconnect to the breath and the body, and does quite a bit in that one little minute. So before I bring Alyssa on, I'd love to just hear in the chat what brought you here today. Perhaps it was something specific, maybe related to our title today around being nature, or perhaps it's something that, you come here every week and want to share, but just something that really brought you into our connection today. And I'll read a few of them out. So Sandra shared, just need to connect to myself. Grace Ann is a nature lover. Just also saying in hellos from YouTube as well, from Chicago, Hartford, Connecticut, Colorado, Vienna, Austria, and Lee from Barcelona. So welcome for our YouTube family as well. Lori, welcome. First time. Nature brought me here. Wonderful to have you. Kathy, love being in nature. Curious about Alyssa. Carly, connection. Heidi, nature and connection, needing some nurture and self-care. Or maybe it's nature and self-care. B. Thomas, expanding my community. Eileen, visiting with you. Thanks, Eileen, and this special weekly get-together. Jerry, difficult week. I'm needing to find my okay place. Welcome, Jerry. It's good to see you as usual, but also in this difficult week as well. iPhone. I don't know who the iPhone is, but iPhone is a nature lover and need to connect with myself. So we're here for you. also in the connection to self and connection to each other. Lisa really needed to get grounded with like-minded women. And compelled to join every week. Nicole, so much of this year has immersed me in nature. Insightful statement of what being nature will bring. Vicky, transition out means to observe nature and go deeper in myself. And I needed to be grounded today. I've started 6 different tasks and not completed any of them. Irene, value the connection to nature. Wonderful. So there are a number of us. iPhone Betsy, nice meeting you too. Wonderful. So there's lots of activity in the chat and lots of reasons for being here today. And, you know, really just noting that also in YouTube, just a few more. I love being out in nature. This is from Stephanie, and working to be more intentional about carrying the feeling I gain in nature with me as much as possible, no matter the setting. Wonderful. So thank you so much to each of you for sharing. And it's an interesting topic, and it's a good timing because it's Earth Month, Earth Week. Tomorrow's Earth Day. Is that tomorrow or Thursday? Earth Day. So it's wonderful to really be focusing in on this. But also, as was mentioned, you know, in this past year, so many of us have been grounded in place in a whole new way. And for me, I'm someone who does a lot of traveling, a lot of moving around, both in connection with family and friends and for my work. And this year, I got to know the woods that I live in a way that I had never done before. And now I know the woods in ways that I hadn't before. And it just, being able to walk through, you know, I used to see it on a map and I used to say, you know, it's something out there. And now there's a completely different feeling of being home, of just being in my place. And that means a lot of different things for a lot of us. For some of us, that's meant going to the window and being connected in this, you know, physical space right around us. And yet that connection to nature is us, you know, every week when we connect with the breath, every day, every minute, that the breath is always there for us and that we're connected to nature in so many ways. So I'm really grateful to have Alyssa here with us because Alyssa has been doing a lot of thinking and writing and interviewing and connection with nature and with this topic. She is a writer, editor, and brand creative strategist, and she's the host of Our Nature podcast, which explores methods, systems, and practices that bring us into greater harmony and alignment with the natural world. She's studied Ayurveda for the last over 10 years and really helped people uncover their inner nature. And Alyssa and I have been friends for a number of years, and we were colleagues before that at Eileen Fisher. So it's a kind of big, great circle coming back around to have you back here with us, Alyssa. And I've just always taken so much inspiration from you and your wonderful connections and work that you've done. I remember the first time you introduced me to one of your guests on the podcast, Divya Alter, and her food. And we had Ayurvedic food at an Eileen Fisher meeting. And I just feel like this is very full circle to be reconnecting with you here in this way. So I'm really glad and grateful and hope you remembered our singing bell traditions. But yeah, thanks for being here and over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Antoinette. I just want to say, of course, I'm in this beautiful canyon in LA, but as soon as this meeting started, there was this chainsaw that started as well. So apologies in advance. I hope you can't hear it. But if you can,
we can't.
I apologize. Okay, good. It's far off, let's just say. Okay. So give me a second while I share my screen. Hold on. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Yes. Okay, amazing. Well, I wanted to welcome all of you to Being Nature, Uncovering Your Inner Nature. I'm so happy to be here. As Antoinette said, this is a very full circle moment for me. And I worked at Eileen Fisher for almost 8 years. So this is really wonderful to be here in this capacity with all of you. So in today's exploration, I'm going to guide you through a grounding meditation. Then I'll introduce you to animal spirit cards. Then we'll have some time for solo reflection and journaling. We'll move into the breakouts, as Antoinette said, and then we'll come back for some sharing and closing. So before we dive into today's content, I'd like to lead you through a grounding meditation. So if you could uncross your legs, put your feet on the floor, and close your eyes. We're going to start with some breathing. We're going to breathe in through the nose for a count of 4, and out through the mouth for a count of 6. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue breathing gently and deeply. Now, envision a place in nature where you feel most at peace. Imagine you're sitting or lying in a position that allows you to be completely comfortable and relaxed. Take a few moments and get a clear picture in your mind of that scene. What do you see around you? What season are you in? What time of day is it? Notice the weather. Is it sunny? Is it cloudy? Now begin to listen to the sounds around you. Listen for the obvious sounds, as well as those that are more faint and farther away. What do you smell? What does it feel like to be where you are? The feeling of the ground beneath you, the feeling of the breeze on your skin. Imagine yourself there, connected to your senses, connected to this place. Take a few slow, steady, deep breaths in this environment. In your peaceful place. Breathe in the sights, smells, and sounds of your environment into your body, filling it with the purifying energy of nature. On your exhale, release any tension you feel down, down, down into the earth. Take a few more breaths here, drawing in the goodness of this special place. Now imagine yourself back in your chair, back in the room that you were in before you closed your eyes. But this time, imagine that the same purifying energy is available to you. Breathe that healing nature energy in, and on the exhale, release any tension down, down, down into the earth. Make sure your feet are firmly planted on the ground. And when you're ready, you can slowly blink your eyes open. Take a moment to reconnect to your surroundings. Okay, welcome back. I hope you feel a bit more at ease in your body and at ease in your mind. I know Antoinette introduced me earlier, but I wanted to also introduce myself. I'm Alyssa Benjamin. I was born and raised in a little town in the countryside, just southeast of Albany in upstate New York, for those who are familiar with that area. I love the ocean. I love being in the sea. I love being in the sand. All of my favorite foods are from the ocean. I love seaweed. It's one of my favorite foods. I love mussels. I was obsessed with The Little Mermaid when I was a kid. Basically, I love everything about the ocean. My favorite tree is the California sycamore. It's the only tree that loses, it's one of the only trees in Southern California that loses its leaves in winter. And then comes spring, these tiny leaves burst out of its buds. They're so tiny and they're covered in this beautiful velvety down. And the leaves, though they're so tiny, grow to anywhere between 12 inches by 10 inches wide. They're huge. They're bigger than my head when they grow to their full size. And to me, this tree represents exponential growth and potential. I love looking at it and watching it grow. I'm coming to you from Los Angeles, which is Chumash territory. The Chumash people occupied the land in the southern coastal regions of California in places that are now Santa Barbara, Ventura, and where I currently am in Los Angeles. As Antoinette said, I have a podcast called Our Nature, which explores the methods, systems, and practices that bring us into greater harmony and alignment with the natural world. And it's really about this concept that we have biologically evolved to be in relationship with our environment. And yet we are more disconnected than ever before. So my podcast is about exploring ways that we can reconnect with the earth and in turn, reconnect with our most authentic selves. I like to call it a great remembering because it's not about gaining something we never had. It's really about remembering what we've known all along. It's about uncovering our soul's essence. So we chat about this and so many other things on my podcast, where we explore Ayurveda to feng shui, from foraging to natural dyeing. And one of the things that I believe is that nature is always speaking to us. We just need to listen. And one of my favorite practices is to go out into nature and just look around and notice the plants and animals that I feel intuitively drawn to. What catches my eye? What animal scampers across my path? What do I see? Do I notice a butterfly? Did I see a lizard far off in the distance? And then using those animals and plants that I feel drawn to as an opportunity to learn more about them and reflect upon the messages that they're carrying. Reflect upon what their presence is teaching me in that moment. So, because we have limitations being on a remote call, we can't all go out into nature and uncover all of the animals and plants that we feel connected to, though I would encourage you to do so. So I wanted to lead you through a way to recreate this practice digitally using animal spirit cards, which I have right here. So does anyone know what animal spirit cards are? If so, write in the chat. I'd love to know if you've heard of them before.
We've got one thumbs up so far.
Amazing. So 1%. Perfect. This is great. A new introduction. Animal spirit cards are, if you know of tarot cards, they're sort of like tarot cards. And they were created by this wonderful woman, Kim Krans. And the cards in this deck are organized according to the elements. So spirit, air, fire, water, and earth. And so in preparing for this call, what I did was I shuffled the entire deck and then organized the cards into each of the elements. And then I sort of intuitively thought of all of you women and shuffled each of the cards in each of the categories and drew one card. So there are 5 cards that I've pre-selected for you today. And I'm going to put them on the screen. And I want you to choose the card that most resonates with you, the one that you feel is calling to you, the one that you feel most intuitively drawn to. Don't overthink it. Just go with your gut on this. So here are the cards. I'm going to give you like 1 minute for this because it should be just a a quick hit. So once you choose your card, write it down. And I want you to write it down so that you don't change your mind and get in your head about it. Okay. I'm going to assume everyone has chosen a card. And I want you to journal your responses to 2 questions. Why did you choose this card? And what is it about this card that intuitively drew you to it? So we'll take 2 minutes. And I'm going to go back to the cards. Antoinette, I don't know if someone could put the questions in the chat so that way I can go back to the cards and people can look at them.
I got it.
Awesome. Okay, begin to finish up your journaling. Okay. Now I'm going to reveal what these cards mean. So take a moment. I'm going to try and make this screen bigger. And read the description for your card first. You can also look at the other descriptions if you're curious. Okay, now we're going to move on to another set of journaling questions. And I'll have Antoinette post those in the chat, and then we'll go back to the screen so you can reflect. So now that you've heard the description, what is coming up for you? Why do you think you are drawn to this card at this moment in your life? How can you take the energy of this card into your life going forward? begin to finish up your second set of questions. Okay. I hope everyone is wrapped up or wrapping up. I wanted to offer an opportunity for you to connect deeper. I encourage you, each of you, to take this practice as a chance to learn about your animal and get to know them, get curious. What do they eat? How do they communicate? What are their habits? Where do they live? And if you chose the unicorn, for example, the unicorn has been used throughout myths and legends and throughout history. So it may not be based in total reality, but you can definitely explore the unicorn and learn about her. I also want to say I wouldn't take this exercise to mean that what animal you chose is now your spirit animal. And the reason why I say this is that I believe we can all be like the bear one day and the hawk the next, the dolphin at some point, and the unicorn at another. So we all can be all of the different animals in the animal kingdom at different points in our lives. So I want you to simply use this as a bridge to connect deeper with the natural world. If you'd like to go deeper with me, I wanted to invite you to attend my free 7-day immersion called Renaturing, Uncovering Your True Nature Through the Senses. And what I'll be doing is I'll be using natural elements to guide people to wake up to their inner nature as they explore their outer landscape. So I would love for you all to join me. It's completely free. And if you'd like to hear more about that, you can sign up for my newsletter by going to my website, ournaturepodcast.com. You can scroll to the bottom of the page and sign up, put your name and email in, and you'll be on my newsletter. And I'll be sharing all the details about that immersion in May. I'd also love to hear from all of you. So you can email me directly at ournaturepodcast@gmail.com. Or you can also, if you have Instagram, you can find me at ournaturealways on Instagram. I wanted to especially thank Antoinette for inviting me to this gathering this morning. I'm so thrilled to be with all of you. And I wanted to thank all of you for showing up to connect with me and to connect with the natural world today. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Alyssa. What a wonderful, I thought, just so simple. And I went with exactly what came up for me. And then seeing the description just felt like, oh, that makes so much sense. So I really appreciate this activity and the work that you're doing. And it just feels so important at this time. My little spirit animal / real animal is trying to get out to come say hi to everybody. And I just think that that piece that you just shared at the end, that we can be each of these different things, these different animals, that we have that nature in ourselves, and each day something new might come out, feels really important as well. So as we go into breakouts, we're going to do 15 minutes of breakouts and just connect with each other and share what came up. Perhaps share your animal, or if something clarified for you, or if there was something in the description that spoke to you. We'll have 15 minutes. You can share your name, where you're coming from, and any insights that you may have gotten from this renaturing experience with Alyssa. And then we'll come back and do a couple minutes of closing. So if you're on YouTube, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the Women Together conversation space. And if you're in on Zoom, you'll move into breakouts now. So enjoy your time together. We'll see you back here in 15 minutes.